As far as like when I'm trying to find somebody, I just want somebody who's like extremely driven. And I mean, pretty much for any position at the company, like that's what's really important to me.
What's up everyone, it's Austin Rutherford here. Today I'm joined by a special guest and a friend of mine here in Columbus, Ohio, Sean Graybo. This man got started in real estate about 3 years ago. I actually moved to Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, to start real estate just 3 years ago. And now he's doing 10 to 15 deals per month, has a 7-figure business, has a team of over 8 people. He does rehabs, he does flips, he does wholesales, he does property management. Today we're going to learn about his business and how he was able to scale it that way. So Sean, I appreciate you being here, bro.
Thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely, I'm excited for this.
Yeah.
So just kind of tell, the people watching, just a little bit about your backstory and kind of what all you got going on right now.
Yeah, so moved to Columbus from California 3 years ago. Decided I wanted to do real estate full time. Looked into a bunch of different markets. Columbus just seemed to make the most, sense for a bunch of economic reasons, and so moved here and started wholesaling. And first year I worked with a partner and we did probably 50 deals. We were doing probably 2 or 3 deals a month with one other person helping us out. And after a year decided I wanted to do my own thing and started my company. And over the last 2 years we've scaled it up to doing consistently 10 or 15 deals a month, but then also doing some rentals and some flips and trying to monetize all our deals the best way we can.
I love it. I love it. So scaled very, very quickly, 3 years in.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you started off with a partner, then decided to do your own thing. So was that about 2 years ago or so?
Yeah, it was 2 years ago.
Okay. And then what was was it just you once you broke out to do your own, or did you immediately hire somebody?
So yeah, we had one employee and he started working with me, helped me start the company.
Nice.
So it was the 2 of us starting off. And
nice.
Within 6 months, we had hired 2 other people.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Quickly growing. That's phenomenal. One of the biggest questions that I get is like, how do I start? How do I get deals? Obviously to be doing 10 to 15 deals a month with a team of that size, you got to be doing a lot of marketing, right? What are your top 3 marketing channels right now?
Our top 3 are probably cold calling, texting, and mail and PPC are kind of a toss-up.
Nice,
yeah.
Nice. I've always tried PPC. Like, it's great and then it's terrible, and then it's great and then it's terrible.
Yeah.
Probably the people that ran it.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it's something too where you can go like 2 months without getting a deal, but then you just land a whale. So I find obviously with the inbound stuff, people are a lot more motivated and there are usually a lot bigger spreads on those deals.
For sure. So, inbound versus outbound. Tell the audience what the difference is and what different marketing streams are inbound or are outbound.
Yeah, so cold calling and texting would be outbound because we're reaching out to people, hey, do you happen to have a house to sell? Inbound would be direct mail, PPC, SEO, where people are actually reaching out to you and looking to sell their house. Mail, mail's a little bit more of a hybrid because you're reaching out to them, but then they're reaching back. But PPC, definitely somebody wants to sell their house, they're looking for you. So I find those deals the spreads are a lot bigger, and then you can just close them a lot quicker. Like if you're randomly calling up somebody on a cold call, then it might take them, 4 or 5 months to, be at that right time to sell. Whereas if somebody's, reaching out to you, they're probably a lot more ready and, they're usually thinking it's time to sell.
For sure. No, it's usually higher profitability and a quicker closing timeline on when people are reaching out to you. Like PPC, you get the call, they're ready to close today.
Yeah. We had one yesterday where we were out there within an hour and then signing it, hopefully closing it the next day. But those leads cost a lot more too. So to get one of those PPC deals, it's probably cost us $5,000–6,000 per contract closed, where cold calling and texting is going to be a lot longer. It's going to take, maybe 6 months and cost $1,500.
Yeah. One, your KPIs, obviously, that's a very important part about marketing. But so it's a cost per deal for the audience that's listening. If you got to spend 20 grand to get a deal, obviously that doesn't make sense. So, on your PPC where you're paying $5,000 to $6,000 per deal, those deals are obviously worth $20,000, $50,000, $80,000. So it makes sense. It's simple math. Like, if you already give me $5,000, I was about to give you 20 back. How many times do you want to do that?
Exactly, no doubt. You just have to have the consistency to weather those 3 months where you're spending that $5,000-$6,000 and not getting anything in return. Because then, that following month you might get 2 or 3 easy ones. So,
for sure.
Yeah, it's, just like all marketing, consistency and being willing to spend that money all the time.
100%, 100%. So you're doing the PPC and the people reaching out to you, but I want to dive into the cold calling and the SMS, because that's what a lot of people do to drum up a large amount of leads.
Yep.
So what does your team look like on that side of things? Cold callers, virtual assistants, and in-house. What does that team look like for the SMS and the cold calling?
Yeah, so like with the SMS, we'll have somebody just send out like all the initial messages. And then once there's like some degree of interest, we'll transfer that over to somebody else who's also a VA but has, a lot better conversations with people. And then once it gets to the point where they think it's actually a lead, they'll push it through to our CRM. And then with the cold calling, we've just found a really good international company that tracks everybody and calls everybody. It's definitely not as good as having somebody local or in-house or, even in the US, but, it's a numbers game. So just try to make a lot of dials and get a good amount of leads.
For sure. So it's VAs doing the cold calling and the texting. And then once the lead becomes hot or warm, then it gets pushed to in-house.
Yep. Yep. And then we also, like one thing we started doing maybe like 6 or 7 months ago is having lead processors just going through all of our CRM, and then also reaching out to like anybody who we're struggling to get a hold of, connecting with them, doing a live transfer to everybody on the sales team. So
I think live transfer is huge.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Because once like, all right, cool, I'm gonna have my team follow up with you, hang up the phone, they're probably 50% chance likely of them actually picking up again.
Yeah, especially like the way we use our lead processors, they're trying to reach out to the people who are really hard to get a hold of. So we actually get them on the phone, then that live transfer is key. And
do you live transfer to anybody on your team?
Yeah.
Or just to
so it's a call rail number, and so it rings on everyone's line.
So they got to be ready to
go. Yeah. Also, when the lead processor, sometimes they're talking to the acquisition person in Slack. So if they know that person who had been working the lead previously is available, they can send it right to them. So they have the option of doing both.
I love it. People always ask me, like you said, it's not as good as having in-house, but when you got to micromanage in-house cold callers or your own cold callers, it takes a lot of time to manage those people. Have you ever done it in-house, like tried it?
Yeah, we've done it in-house, and like one thing we'll do is like if we have somebody who, just wants to work with us, we'll have them like do driving for dollars and cold calling in the office just to see if they, really want to do it. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, we do a little bit in-house, and then like the other thing we'll do is we like to take like, maybe like our hottest, 20,000, 30,000 people, usually the same people we're sending mail to.
Yeah.
We'll try to cold call them in-house sometimes, or at least like have the best performing cold caller do that. So that's another thing we're always trying to do, is even within all the data for the cold calling, trying to figure out who's the best and, put the best caller on those people.
Yeah. Especially the cold calling side, like to me, it's out of sight, out of mind. If you can outsource, just send them a list and start getting leads, you and your team are able to focus on like things that actually produce money.
Totally.
Because cold calling doesn't always produce money right away.
Yeah.
People message me like, man, I made 100 calls and nobody wants to sell. Like, does this really work? Like, we have cold callers that call thousands of people per day.
Yeah.
You got to do more than 100 phone calls.
For sure.
So to be able to outsource that and, deal with 1,000 hangups and no's and phone calls to get the 1 or 2 good leads, that's worth it to me every single time. Yeah,
and I mean, like, if you get a good service, they're tracking everything. They have, a team leader managing everybody down there, everybody calling, and all the technical support, everything's handled for you. Like, we get like a weekly report on exactly how many dials we're making, how many leads are going in. So it takes, outsources everything so you can focus on the more important things.
For sure. So it sounds like you're obviously very dialed in with your KPIs, with your key performance indicators, and, the marketing side of things. You got to know, what makes sense and where you're spending your money at. So my question to you is like, how did you learn the marketing? Was it trial and error, or how were you able to scale it from $0 to, I think you mentioned $30,000 a month in marketing spend? You have to know what you're doing.
Yeah, so definitely a lot of trial and error. Keeping
Lost money.
Yeah, exactly. Learn what not to do. But yeah, KPIs are huge. We track everything that has to do with marketing, that has to do with our acquisition process. So we're able to review those numbers, every month, every quarter, and figure out where our money's best allocated. And then it's also just been throughout the years, always trying to see what other people are doing, going to different events, trying to pick and choose different things that I want to try, and then going through the trial and error process and seeing what's actually going to stick for me.
100%. I'm a huge advocate in, learning from other people that are positioned that you want to be in. And with that, what works for them doesn't always work for you. Different marketing works differently in different areas.
For sure.
So there's definitely trial and error, aspect to that as well. So for those who want to learn, how to scale a real estate business, how to implement the marketing the right way so you don't waste money, and how to build a team and how to build a 7-figure real estate business, Sean and I are putting together a coaching program that we're super excited about to help teach other people how to build businesses the same way that we have. So if that's something you're interested in, click the link in the description below, put your information in there. I'd love to get on a call with you. Keep in mind though, this does take time from us. I spend over $100,000 a year in education. I know you just told me you spent like 30 or 40 on something. There is an investment to this because it does take time from us, but it obviously pays off. You're going to learn exactly how we did the business. So click the link in the description below if it's something you're interested in. So to me, like if you're running a wholesale business, one of the first hires you should do is a acquisitions person. What's your process on bringing new acquisition people in?
So that's been refined since the beginning. It's without a doubt such a hard position to fill because not only, the person needs to be comfortable talking to people and kind of have that sales experience, but they have to have a lot of drive and a lot of motivation, and that's hard to gauge. Everybody says they're really motivated and really hungry, and a lot of people will show that at the beginning. But people get comfortable. So as far as when I'm trying to find somebody, I just want somebody who's extremely driven, and pretty much for any position at the company. That's what's really important to me.
Do you need sales experience? Or can you teach that?
You can teach that, absolutely. I'd rather, without a doubt, I've had somebody with a young kid with no sales experience start at the same time as an older guy with a ton of sales experience. And the younger kid was running circles around him within a month and a half. So it's something that's not easily trained, but it's something that's trained, and I focus a lot more on, people lining up with my core values than necessarily their experience or what education they have.
For sure. I know you mentioned you bring some people in to do driving for dollars and cold calling. Is that kind of how you start acquisitions?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Unless I really need an acquisition person really fast, then we can speed that up a little bit. But no, that's been the best way, have somebody who says that they really want to, my ideal acquisition person is someone who's younger and just obsessed with real estate. And they're doing it for the experience and the education as much as they are for the payday. Just for my experience, I've seen those are the people who do really well. So a good way to test that out is driving for dollars and cold calling.
For sure. We bring them in and have them kind of follow up on the not so hot leads just so they don't blow a good deal. Is that similar to you guys? Yeah,
I think really the first week once they're doing acquisitions, they're watching a lot of different sales training programs and coaching that I've gotten over the years, and shadowing people and then going after the colder leads.
I love it. I love it. So what's the plan from here?
Oh man, I really love learning new things about real estate. Up until a year ago, hadn't really done any flips or any rentals. Now I'm really into trying to build a rental portfolio.
Yes. When did you start buying rentals?
About a year ago.
And how many do you have now?
30 of them.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I think last time we talked, it's trying to do 3 a month right now for the rental side. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So continue, my fault.
Oh no, it's good. I want to do everything, but at the same time, I know I know I should stay focused on not go too far wide. And so I like single family. I know how to find good deals, and then from finding those deals, what are other ways to to kind of branch out while still keeping that as a core business. So rentals, flips, maybe like some small multi-family, just starting to branch out a little bit and just continue to learn a lot.
For sure. I always say in real estate, if you can find the deal, if you can be the one that finds the deal, you control everything.
Yeah.
Because you can wholesale it. If it's a better rental, you can keep it as a rental if you're able to raise money, or flip it if you want to maximize the profitability of it. You know, if you can find the deal, like, you're set.
Yeah. I mean, whether you're a developer, a flipper, or a landlord, it all starts with finding a good deal. And then I think another thing that's been really valuable, especially like, you know, coming to a town without knowing anyone here, is if you're finding the good deals, like, it's pretty easy to build good relationships with people too.
Very
so,
easy.
you know, it's a great way to like find good partners on flips or on rentals or, you know, on development. You know, if you really want to get into development and you find a great deal on a piece of land, probably going to be a lot easier to learn how to do development if you find the right person to partner up with.
Absolutely, no, 100%, brother. Some of the things that I'm super impressed by, you know, 3 years in, really kind of 2 years in, because you had a partner at first, building the business that you've been able to, and just recently tapping into the rental portfolio side. I mean, you've scaled very, very quickly. So kudos to you, my man.
I appreciate it, man. It's exciting, and you know, I'm fortunate to get to learn from a lot of good people.
Absolutely, bro. So for anybody who wants to connect with you, where can they find you on social media?
Yeah, they find me on IG at Sean Graybo, and yeah, that's the main spot.
Graybo's, Sean is S-E-A-N, Graybo's G-R-A-B-O-W.
That's right.
Perfect. So follow my man on Instagram. He's killing it. Social media presence is picking up as well too, so you'll get a bunch of nuggets from Instagram, so make sure you connect with him. Again, if you're interested in learning about the coaching program, click the link in the description below. I appreciate you all being here. Drop any comments that you have. You know, I know we covered a lot about marketing, about hiring, about acquisition, so drop comments in the comments below. Hit that like and subscribe button. As always, thank you for being here. We'll see you on the next one.